Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after reciting Nerdy Nirvana's concise meditation manual. But first, I'm going to take a moment to explain a passage from the Great Garuda in Flight. The 10th passage is as follows. Craving pleasure is an attachment sickness. Craving pure pleasure is an attachment sickness. Pure pleasure here refers to the so-called jhanas or meditation experiences. So craving meditation experiences is an attachment sickness if it is not cured by the panacea of imperturbable sameness. Even the causal basis of higher states are infected by passion. So what does that mean? It means as we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they're melting into just sensation, just emotion. That's the panacea of sameness. If we are stuck in the duality of pushing and pulling, our meditation is going to be frustrating and exhausting and unproductive. So, having enjoyed this translation, let's continue with the actual hullabaloo. So I'm going to tap button 9. And together, you are welcome to recite Nerdy Nirvana with me, to see the text. In order to recite it with me in real time, simply join me on the Tube app. From an evolutionary perspective, stress is anything that circumstantially, physically, interpersonally, or mentally inhibits our ability to survive and thrive as a species. We evolved a collection of instincts to survive those stressors. These are fine when used sparingly, but since the Neolithic Revolution, we as a species have been forced to overuse them. Enslaved by the fleeting short-term pleasures of our dopamine-oriented reward system, we have become defined by our controlling tendencies, and as such, overfocus, overanalyze, and overbelieve to such a degree that we exhaust our dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortex, which triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, causing cowardice, competition, and cruelty to be the guiding light by which we needlessly squander our brief human lives. The fulfillment for which we yearn could only be delivered by our oxytocin-oriented system that rewards for cooperation and kindness. This meaningful path has 8 folds. Let us forsake the exhausting habit of actively fighting against our own autonomic nervous system, the hardware of our Buddha nature, and instead with it, cooperate. By silently and mentally reciting the verb watch, every time we feel our chest subtly swell as we inhale, and by silently and mentally reciting the verb rest, each time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale. Let us explore how this works. During each inhalation, spontaneous and uncontrived, the sympathetic nervous system, centered in the middle bit of our spinal cord, is already wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly watch our perceptions. Oops, sorry about that camera movement. To watch our perceptions the sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, and scents of the four bases of mindfulness is circumstantial, physical, interpersonal, and mental, including our abilities to emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. Instead of indulging our controlling tendencies to shove at circumstantial danger, physical pain, interpersonal scorn, and mental shame, as well as reach for circumstantial safety, physical bliss, interpersonal praise, and mental fame, let us choose to be vulnerable to all that we experience, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with all that we watch? Simple. With every exhalation, the top bit and the bottom bit of that same spinal cord, known as our parasympathetic nervous system, is already wired to rest in such a manner that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast, empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. Until, of course, the next inhalation, when the cycle begins afresh. Like the ticking pendulum of a grandfather clock, we continue to watch mind's antics and rest in its non-graspable nature. The acquisition of a new skill could make us anxious and even feel that we, like Rip Van Winkle, could sit to meditate only to open our eyes and find that a century has passed us by. Some have found that the best way to non-neurotically time our meditation is to practice a variation of Bengali crease counting. It could take more than 1 minute. Oopsie. It could take more than 1 minute to count 16 inhalations by touching the tip of our right thumb to the creases and tips of its little, ring, middle, and index fingers. It could take more than 20 minutes to count 16 sets of 16 inhalations each by touching the tip of our left thumb to the creases and tips of its little, ring, middle, and index fingers. It could take more than an hour to count 3 collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations each by using the tip of our left middle finger to first support our right middle finger's larger lower knuckle. Then support its middle knuckle, and then support its very small upper knuckle, all while resting both hands, palms up, in our lap. Remember that which at first feels awkward could be mastered if practiced once every 12 hours after only a week or so. As we sit and breathe and watch and rest, all that we notice could effortlessly come to feel impermanent, evanescent, and utterly subject to change. The more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more our angry and aggressive amygdala is calmed. And the more our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus is gently stimulated. So marinating our experience in the four bases of mindfulness, that mentally our intentions are spontaneously kinder, interpersonally our utterances are naturally kinder, physically our conduct is automatically kinder, and circumstantially our commerce is impulsively kinder. Thus, forging a heaven on earth, eventually a peaceful death, and even an auspicious rebirth, if there is such a thing. The more we watch mind's antics, let's go over here for a second. Come back to that. The more we watch mind's antics and rest in its non-graspable nature, the more we automatically experience the effortless effort, or wu wei, that comes not from calculated contrivance, nor from wild scatterness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. Let us transcend our elite conditioning to consider the possibility that enlightenment is merely a mastery of this eightfold path. As children, the skills to use the toilet, brush our teeth, tie our shoes, and ride a bike felt insurmountable. And yet, with time and effort and tears, we so mastered these skills that we could perform them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. Similarly, enlightenment's eightfold path could likewise be effortless. Perhaps that is why that, in the second to final passage of his discourse on the four bases of mindfulness, the Buddha is said to have explained that one could master this path in as suddenly as 7 days. No, doing so does not mean we'll never experience any pain ever again. It simply means we will have mastered the Buddha's figurative tool chest, wherewith we could sustainably respond to each sling and arrow of outrageous fortune. So, once every 12 hours or so, may we sit and breathe and watch and rest. Having completed our opening recitation, let us now shift gears. It is Rey Skywalker, Sunday mid-morning. At least it's mid-morning here in Scotland. Let us meditate like a Jedi after about 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, let us sit and breathe and watch and rest. So now we can prepare to collect gather our first collection of let's see, of 16 sets of 16 inhalations each. Having counted our 16 inhalations on our right hand, on our left hand we can now advance our thumb. Let us seal our practice by chanting or reciting the Cuckcoo Song of Awareness. If you wish to join me, if you wish to recite with me, simply join me on the Tube app. We begin with view. The true nature of infinite diversity is non-dual, for the wisdom of each phenomena is free of the need for conceptual elaboration. We turn now to meditation. The so-called state of just as it is inexpressible, for all manifested forms are ultimately self-perfected. Let us conclude now with action. As everything is already accomplished by giving up the affliction of striving, one finds oneself naturally abiding in the effortless state. We have taken our first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3¼ hours, I would very much like to return to today's third recitation and meditation. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.